Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. Before we start, could you please, in the public chat on the right-hand side, put in whether you can hear me at the moment? That would be very helpful. Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much. So, my name is Anna Strode. I am Studies Abroad Coordinator in Riga, Latvia, in Kalba Group. So today we are joined by a wonderful friend of ours, Eric Frege from Jonkoping University in Sweden. Eric is team manager in the international recruitment. So thank you very much, Eric. At the moment, you can't see Eric, but once he will start presenting, then you will be able to ask your questions at the end of the presentation. Again, on the right-hand side, you can see the chat, so please feel free to ask questions at the end. So before we start, and I give word to Eric. Just a quick introduction. If you have never heard of Kalba before, Kalba Group, either you're in Latvia or Lithuania, I will just give a quick brief of what we are and what we do. All right. So Kalba Group, so in Riga and in Lithuania, is an international study center for educational opportunities abroad, which has been successfully operating in the education markets for 28 years now. And what we offer are various things. So we start with a free of charge consultation. To find a study program that is corresponding to your wishes and possibilities. We also help you to prepare all the necessary documents for the application. We assist you on how to write a great motivational letter and a CV and any other documents that you may need, which includes also translations of documents, for example. We will also inform you about the financing opportunities, grants, loans, bursaries, other opportunities that are available in different countries. And we actually send your documents to the university. After this, the process doesn't stop because we actually can help you with some practical tips as well about living costs, living opportunities, and other things. So there is a lot of things that we help with, and you will be in great hands if you decide to apply with us. And just quick things about myths about studying abroad. So first, the language barrier. This is, I can for sure say about Latvia, but I'm pretty sure it is the same in Lithuania as well. If you go through any job opportunities, any work that is currently available, I can assure you, and I cannot stress more about this to my students and everyone who's interested in studying abroad, that more languages you know, better it will be for you, because more you know, better jobs you can get. So the language barrier should not be an issue. Yes, we suggest maybe you learn a little bit of the language before you go, but your studies will happen in English, so it will not be an issue. But maybe at the same time, you will learn another language, which is a great opportunity for you. Lack of money, hard to find a job. Again, Sweden and Jonkoping University is a great opportunity because you don't actually have to pay for your studies. So that's a great opportunity for you. And also there are other helpful things that may help funding your studies. So you don't have to, there are always ways if you only wish to do it. So this is something that we can help with as well and discuss with you. I will definitely not get accepted with such marks. This is something that we also stress a lot because universities nowadays, I hope Eric will also later agree with me, is they're also looking for your motivation. Of course, your marks are extremely important, and it is important that you do your best whilst you're in school, but it's also about your motivation. And then again, we need to work individually in each case and see what are your opportunities and possibilities. It will be better to handle the documents myself. Well, I have a story about that, because when I was applying to study in the UK, I was not very professional with sending my documents, and my passport got lost in the post, and I was living without an identity for a couple of months, which was very stressful. I couldn't travel anywhere. So maybe sometimes it is not the best to handle all your documents on your own. And why to apply then with Kalba Group? When you're applying on your own, you have to search for information. You have to work with the documents on your own. You can make mistakes because you don't know. You have a lot of questions. And one important point, there are a lot of rumors going around from somebody, friend, sister who went sometime, long time ago. And this information might not be actually so relevant at the moment. When you're applying with us, there is an assistance in communication with universities. We actually send the documents for you. We have all the necessary information. There are free consultations. There are webinars like today, and we can give some practical tips as well about living situations and things like that. So that is a quick introduction from me. So please feel free to drop in and apply for free consultations and register, and we will be happy to really give these free consultations in Riga and in Lithuania. So please feel free to do that. But now I will give a word to Eric to speak about Jonkoping University.
Great. Well, thanks, Anna. That was really nice intro. We've received a lot of applications over the last few years from Kalba, from students from both Latvia and from Lithuania. So we welcome you to, if you're interested, to definitely get in touch with Kalba. They know the steps to take to make a successful application. So I'm going to change the slide now. And actually, what I thought I would do today is talk a little bit about why Sweden first, and then tell you a bit about and show you some pictures, some slides about Jonkoping University. But I think the first thing is to talk a little bit about why Sweden. So I'm going to switch to presentation mode here. And I think that there are quite a lot of good reasons to choose Sweden. And that's often the first thing. You're searching for where to study. And I think that Sweden offers a lot of good reasons to choose, some of which Anna already mentioned. One, of course, Sweden has a good economy. That's good because that means there are job opportunities. If you're considering looking for work after your studies, finding a career in a close country. There's also a lot of innovation that takes place in Sweden. It's known for innovation, so that goes hand in hand with the economy. And you're going to get a quality education at a value, like Anna mentioned. You don't pay tuition fees as EU citizens. We do charge tuition fees to non-EU citizens, but because it's free to study for Swedish citizens, the law is that all EU citizens therefore have to follow the same rules. So you get a high quality education without paying tuition fees, and that's quite a good value. Another thing that Anna mentioned, one of those myths about studying abroad, and a lot of students maybe think that they should go to an English-speaking destination, but actually you can get by with English quite easily. And I'm going to show you another slide about that. There are good living standards here in Sweden. It's safe, clean, and modern. All of our programs build in sustainability, even if the program itself doesn't have sustainability as one of the phrases in the program name or in the description. sustainability is like a common thread here at the university. So you'll always be tackling different subject areas by looking at how can you approach it from a sustainability aspect. Yeah, and there are many other reasons to choose Sweden. So some of the innovations that people recognize, you can see here. Companies like Skype and Spotify, H&M. Of course, people recognize IKEA as a Swedish company. So Sweden is often ranked as one of the most innovative countries in the world. And a lot of companies, I think people recognize, but don't realize that they're Swedish companies. So like H&M and several others. So I think that Swedish companies have for such a small country, have quite a large footprint around the world. But maybe Sweden isn't so well known as a study destination. But the reason to show you this is to also mention that innovation and companies go hand in hand with universities. There's a lot of collaboration in Sweden between universities and companies, and especially at Jonkoping University. And the government certainly invests a lot of money in research and development. You can see Sweden really is an outlier. So a lot of money goes into research and development, which means money is being poured into the university sector, meaning high quality. And if you look at the rankings of country educational systems, Sweden always does really well in terms of quality. And this U21, Universitas 21 ranking is actually a ranking done by a consortium of universities all around the world. They look at things like how much money the government invests in education. They look at research output internationally. They look at how internationalized the universities are, etc. So you see countries that you recognize on the list, of course, as very well-known study destinations like the US and the UK. But often countries like the US and the UK have very wide variety of universities. They have, of course, top universities. And then they have universities that maybe are not so good. So it's a bit of a jungle. In Sweden, I think most people would agree here in Sweden that universities are quite even. The government has quite high standards. So in order to run programs, universities really need to make sure that they're following all the guidelines. And programs that aren't up to par, they get canceled. So they're not allowed to run. So it's almost like a punitive measure by the government. So that's also good to know. When you choose Sweden, it's not as important in terms of you don't have to really navigate that jungle of good quality and bad quality. And like I mentioned, English, it's really easy to get by with English in Sweden. In fact, you can learn Swedish when you're here. You can study Swedish, which is recommended if you're thinking about a career in Sweden. But English is really like a second language here. So everyone you meet, even the older generation, they speak English at a high level. So Jönköping, well, we're one of Sweden's 10 biggest cities, and we're a real student city. So there are about 140,000 people living in Jönköping, and about 12,000 are students. So it's quite well located. It's in the south of Sweden. If you were to draw a line from Stockholm west, you would find that about 9 million of the 10 million people in Sweden live in this region. So actually, Sweden is the third biggest country in Western Europe in terms of land, but it's really not so densely populated if you consider the whole of Sweden. But in the south, it's quite densely populated from Stockholm south. And you can see where Jönköping is. We're quite centrally located in the south of Scandinavia. We're about 3 hours from Stockholm by bus or train or car, about the same to Malmö. So you have easy access to Copenhagen as well, about 3 hours away. Gothenburg is the second biggest city. That's about an hour and a half away. And the international airport is actually on the way to Jonkoping. So it's about an hour and 15 minutes, and the buses run quite often between Gothenburg and Jonkoping. Oslo, which you can't see, which is a bit north of Gothenburg in Norway, that's also quite close. So all the capitals of Scandinavia are within quite easy reach. And Jönköping's a real student city, so there's amazing things to do. It's like a big city in a smaller city's shoes. So you really feel like a student here. Whereas opposed to Stockholm, where you'll feel like a student in a kind of big city. And so there's lots to do, from sports to outdoor activities, to cinemas and shopping. It's also the region in Sweden with the largest amount of small and medium-sized companies. So there's the least amount of unemployment. So it's good job opportunities in the region of Småland, it's called. So to get to a bit about us, our university, Jonkoping University, we're known for a few things, one of which is being quite international. We're one of the most international universities in Sweden. So of the 11,000 students, we have about 2,400 international students from about 70 countries. We have by far the biggest exchange program. So you can, in all of the 3-year bachelor programs and in most of the 2-year master programs, you can go abroad for a semester. You can get Erasmus funding if you go within the Erasmus program within Europe, or you can go to one of our many partners in North America and Asia and spend a semester abroad. And that's pretty much a guarantee in most programs that have study abroad. You just need to keep your grades up. And there's a lot of international research happening at the university. We have 4 international campuses that offer internships at companies, sometimes Swedish companies. Now, this is connected to our School of Engineering. So the internships through our campuses, they're not really like buildings, campus buildings, but they're connection points. So we have one in the US, in North Carolina, where we connect students to Husqvarna, the company Husqvarna, a Swedish company, to internships there, and you also study abroad. We have one in Bangkok, where we connect students to the company Electrolux, the Swedish company, and internships there, as well as other companies. We have one in Brazil, and we have one in Mexico as well. So these are good opportunities for those of you interested in doing an internship. Internships are available also through some of our other programs at the other schools, but they're not combined with study abroad. It's either or. This is a bit of a special offer for School of Engineering students. The other unique thing, which I'm going to show you more of, is our business school, which is by far the most international business school in Sweden, but probably the most international in Scandinavia. About 50% of our students and teachers come from outside of Sweden. Here you can see some of those partners we have, partner universities. The whole list is on our website, so you can check to see which countries we offer exchange. We offer them in many countries all around the world. It's a great opportunity. You see a lot of really great universities that we're partnered with. So that's a nice thing, a culture experience, but also a way to boost your CV a bit. Let's see. Yeah, the other thing that we're known for is our entrepreneurial spirit, or how we have close combination between theory and practice. And we do that in almost all of our programs. So I studied myself in the US, and during my studies, I sat in a lot of big lecture halls. I listened to lectures like you're doing now, unfortunately. I had to take notes, and then I had to memorize things and take tests. And that was, for the most part, that was my study experience at a big university in the US. The difference here in Sweden, and especially with us at Jonkoping University, is that most of the programs combine a lot of theoretical opportunities built into the programs. So you're not only going to study from textbooks, you're going to learn from current case studies, like what's happening at companies right now. You're going to be doing projects with group members. You're going to have the opportunity to do an internship or an industrial placement and collaborate with a company. There are competitions, labs, etc. So even though we're a research-based university, and there is theory built in, you're also definitely going to have a lot of practical moments. And it's not just about contact hours with your teacher, but rather what you're learning by working together with your peers and then presenting. We also offer lots of partner companies that the university works with, where students are involved, and there are case competitions. We have a science park and a career center to help you find help with your CV or how to do an interview, and also, many businesses are started each year by students. One of the projects that students get involved in, the last 2 years, unfortunately, this hasn't taken place, but every year prior to that, we've been part of the World Solar Challenge, which we've been one of the better universities in Sweden, or I should say the best, in terms of placement. We build a solar car every year, and it gets shipped to Australia, and the students travel together with the teachers, and this project is open for lots of different students from different faculties, and it's a lot of fun, but it's a great learning experience. And then the car gets raced from the north to the south of Australia. I mentioned we have Science Park. It's a business incubator. It's actually under renovation now. It's still, of course, open, but it's becoming Science Towers. And it's partly owned by the university and partly by the city, and it's expanding. And this is a great opportunity for students who have good ideas, business ideas, where you can pitch your idea to a business developer and get feedback and possibly help, if it's a really good idea, with starting the company. Free office space, help with your business plan, help with getting it registered in Sweden. So these are things that are a nice extra offer for students that are studying business or similar. All of our bachelor students at the business school actually start a company, and these are a few snaps from Entrepreneurship Day, which is the ending of a course called Entrepreneurship and Business Planning, where students get a small loan and they actually have to start their own company. In the course, they're learning about how to write a business plan, how to do market research, etc. And then at the end, they actually have to try to sell their product. This is a picture of the most recent entrepreneurship challenge. It's a competition it's run by the business school, but in collaboration with the School of Engineering. And a company comes to campus and presents a problem that they have, and the students have to come up with a creative solution within 24 hours and pitch it to the company. And as you can see, this group always, every year, international students are winning competitions like this. And this winning group won about €6,000. And I think they also win an opportunity to take their idea further. Then there's a runner-up and a third place finish that also win prizes. And here you can see our business school is quite proud of the recent rankings. This is the first year, actually, or I should say last year, 2021, that the business school was ranked by Financial Times as having the top being within the top 100 globally in 4 of the master's programs in management. And then they also got the ranking as part of the top 100 European business schools. So this was quite a good result for the business school, showing the quality. And you can also see that we're double accredited since 2015. We're actually the first business school in Sweden to gain double accreditation. So that's another indicator of quality. They basically check our quality and check to make sure that we offer up-to-date business education from an international perspective. And our School of Engineering is also accredited by ACEEU and a member of CDIO, which is an initiative that was started at MIT that believes that education should be, again, a combination of theory and practice, so that there should be, and the initial stand for conceive, design, implement, and operate, so that students should be learning by doing. So now I'm going to just share with you the programs that we offer. You can see these are the bachelors that we offer. We have these 4, 5, 6, 7 bachelor programs. They're all 3 years in length. And like I mentioned before, they all offer an internship or a study abroad semester. And a few of them even have double degree opportunities. The first 2 at the business school. These are all the programs that are offered that are taught in English. In Sweden, most of the programs are actually delivered in Swedish at the bachelor level, and at the master's level, most programs are offered in English. But we're a bit unique that we offer so many programs in English at the bachelor's level. So from a Swedish perspective, for a medium-sized university, this is actually quite a large number of English taught programs. And part of the reason is because of our business school. Like I mentioned, it's quite international. And so even the Swedish students that come and study with us, they're only studying in English. And that's also one of the things that makes it one of the more international business schools in Scandinavia. You can see the first 4 programs on the left are all delivered by the business school. They're either within business and administration or economics. And then on the right side, you can see new media design, which is a bit of a unicorn program. It's a unique one. It combines graphic design and web development, user experience design as well. So it's a bit unusual that you get a program that mixes the two. So it's an informatics program. And then you can see we have one within sustainable supply chain management taught by our School of Engineering, and one very unique niche program in prosthetics and orthotics. At the master's level, we have a lot more to offer. We have these are just the programs delivered by our business school. And as you can see, they're either 1 or 2 year programs. There's no difference between 1 and 2 year programs in terms of the degree that you get. You get a Master's of Science regardless. The difference is in the depth of the program. The 2 year program, of course, has more depth. It's more, it's better for those of you that are thinking about doing a PhD afterwards to go into research. You should do a 2 year program. Or for those of you who want to study abroad or do an internship. The 1 year programs are very succinct and they're quite crammed in. So within 10 months, you're done. But that's really good for those of you that are maybe thinking that you need the master's and you don't have the time to spend, or that you're in a career already and you want to get the qualification. So they're also very good programs. The first 2 are within business administration. The third one, engineering management, is actually for engineers. And then the remaining 5 or the next 5 are within business administration, and the last one within economics. Basically, the master programs are, it depends what your previous qualifications are important, I should say. So often you need to have a background or enough credits in a similar area. So Kalba's good at knowing a bit about what you need to have from your previous education. We're in touch with Kalba as well. So when they have students that are interested, they get in touch with us, and we can sometimes give some advice in case you're unsure. There can be cases where your application is on the border of having enough credits in a certain area, and then we just will recommend an application to let admissions assess your background. Here you can see the other master's programs we offer in other areas. We have a lot, mostly on the left side, you see our engineering school has a lot to offer within AI engineering, and then programs within product development and manufacturing, production, as well as a BIM program, Sustainable Building Information Management, and even one-year program in user experience design, which is a good follow-up program to the new media design bachelor's. All the programs except for the 1 year offer built-in an internship, and some of the 2-year programs you can also study abroad or do the one of the international campus opportunities as well. And on the right side, you can see the other programs we offer within communications, within global studies, and child studies, and also within education. You can see that these are 1 or 2 year programs. They're flexible. It means you decide. So you can, if you need the depth, if you're thinking about going into research, or you want to have that opportunity to go abroad or do an internship, 2 year is a better option. Or if you want a faster track, then the 1 year programs are good. And lastly, you can see that we have a few programs within health sciences as well. Occupational therapy is our only web-based program. Otherwise, the programs are taught on campus. And throughout the pandemic, we've actually been quite good about offering on-campus education. Of course, when things were at the worst, we went to hybrid or to completely online. But as soon as we were able to offer safe in-campus education, we went back to offering, as long as class sizes were not so big and there was enough space between students, we went back to in-person education. And we think that students really appreciate that, to have the opportunity to come to campus, to be here, to have an on-campus experience. So we hope to continue with that for 2022 as well. I won't spend too much time here because students mostly from Lithuania, from Latvia, from most EU countries have good English, but we do offer pathway programs that are mainly to help with English for students that don't meet the English requirements. You've taken an IELTS test, but you didn't quite get the 6.5 level we require. Then you could apply for Pathway Plus, a program. And here you see some of the English tests we accept. We accept certainly more than IELTS and TOEFL, but these are the most common. And there are some exemptions if you've studied in English at the university level, or in some international high schools. There could also be an exemption from the language test, but mostly students from Lithuania and Latvia usually take one of the language tests to prove their proficiency. And when it comes to requirements, here you can see it's quite simple. We need it's very similar between bachelor and master. You can see the things that we require, but again, it's about doing it right. It's about making the application correctly and on time and uploading the right way. So therefore, it's always good to take help from a consultant that has sent students to us in the past. So therefore, that's your choice if you choose to get Kalba's help. And the deadline to apply is May 2nd, but programs can close early. So we do recommend applying as soon as you would like to make an application, because a later application has less of a chance of being accepted. And of course, as Anna mentioned before, there are no tuition fees for EU citizens. You have the health insurance through your EHEC card. So your health insurance from Lithuania, Latvia, that you take with you, and you're basically treated like any Swedish citizen when you're here, which means you have full support of the health insurance here in Sweden, which is great. There are lots of student discounts here in Sweden, and the student life is really, really good. So there's a lot of support from student union here in Sweden. And actually, that's the one cost for you. And it's a very small cost per year that you pay. I don't know what it is exactly, if it's like 60 euro or 70 euro for a year, but that gives you access to all the support that student union offers. I shouldn't say that's the only fee. There's also a fee to apply for housing, and that's 70 euro to apply for housing, because there's a housing shortage in Sweden. So we definitely recommend to let our housing guarantee cover you. We guarantee your housing as long as you apply in time and correctly. Cost of living, we estimate to be around 800 to 900 euro per month. Of course, you can live on less than that, and of course, you can live on more. And lastly, these are just some of the services that we offer. We're quite used to receiving international students. We have a service center, which is the first thing you see on campus, which is the picture there. There's Camilla with some students. They're really helpful. They're like a one-stop shop for any questions you have when you arrive, but also while you're students. We have, like I mentioned, guaranteed accommodation. We pick you up. We have a pickup service. We drive you to your accommodation. You sign your contract when you arrive, and you settle in. You have a week of introduction. It's a lot of fun. There are lots of other things, as you can see on this list, of things that are on offer for you. There are many restaurants on campus. We have a sports center. We have a gym. Again, you can get a discount as a student. You're welcome to study Swedish with us also. That's an option. It's in parallel to your studies, so you have to be able to manage your studies alongside the language course. I think I'm going to stop there and let you, I'll stop talking and let you ask any questions if you have any for me.
Eric, I just wanted to say as well that this university is so popular for Latvian students. We absolutely love Jonkoping, and I think the big plus is as well the accommodation, because I think this is an issue for many countries, and the opportunity that you actually get picked up from the airport, it is absolutely amazing. So this is something that we really appreciate, and students do as well. So
yeah, and that's a bit of a warning or a double to make sure to check. Sweden does have a really tough housing crisis, or housing shortage, I should say. So the guarantee is not every Swedish university has a housing guarantee. So housing can be really difficult to find without it. And I know that the Swedish students have they have a hard time, but of course it's easier for them to navigate the market, but they don't have the housing guarantee that our international students have. Yeah. I see a question in the chat. Is it hard to find a job as a student? I would say, if you asked me that question like 5 years ago, I would say, yeah, you shouldn't. It can be quite hard, because most employers expect that you speak a bit of Swedish, even if it's just basic Swedish. Everyone speaks English in Sweden, but it's quite common that there's this expectation that if you're working in Sweden, that you should be able to speak, some conversational Swedish. Now I think that's actually changed a bit in recent times, and it's quite common for students, our international students, to find part-time jobs, even without speaking Swedish. But I wouldn't say you should expect to find work. I would say you should be able to support yourself without, and if you really want to find part-time work, you can usually find it. Yeah, so to answer your second question, it is possible. We don't have any on-campus jobs, so everything would be off-campus, and it would really be up to you. Our career services, they're really meant to help you with your career after studies. So it's really on you to knock on doors and to check to see if cafes or restaurants or IKEA or anyone is hiring. But like I said, it's not as hard as it used to be.
Thank you for the question. Are there any more questions? It seems like everything was so clear. So thank you, Eric, very much. As a counselor, please get in touch with us here in Riga in Lithuania, and please book your free consultations. I'm sure we will have a lot of students as every year to your university, but please, get in touch with us. And if you have any specific questions for Eric, we can also forward the email if there's anything very specific that you'd like to ask. But otherwise, Eric, do you have anything else you would like to add?
I could just mention that sometimes students are wondering, like you mentioned, that Kalba, that you help facilitate students to us, but it can be helpful to know that on an average year, we have about 350 to 400 students coming from the EU each year to the university, just so you get a sense of how many students are each year starting up. So that means at any given year where students are studying sometimes 3-year bachelors or 2-year masters or 1-year masters, that there are many more just EU students. And then there's an equal amount coming from outside of the EU. So in terms of meeting students, connecting with friends from your country, from other countries within the EU or outside of the EU, there are lots of opportunities. But also, of course, you'll be mixed in with Swedish students. So you'll also be meeting lots of students from Sweden as well.
Absolutely.
And to answer the question, if everyone speaks, no, not everybody. I mean, everyone doesn't speak English at the same. It's a mix of ability. But of course, Sweden is one of the countries that stands out, I think, in terms of level of English. Like I showed you the ranking by the company EF. The Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark are always quite high, always ranked quite high in the list of level of English. So that will be a good thing for you as a student, that you don't have to worry about getting around, and everything is available usually in English.
Great. Okay, any more questions? Check. All right. Thank you very much, Eric. This was extremely informative and helpful, and hopefully our students get a better idea and will book a free consultation. And yes, it was lovely to see you. If you guys have any questions, just email us, get in touch, and we'll answer all your questions. Eric, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Anna. And thank you everyone for listening.